Okay guys, so here I just want to show you some of the just smoothness in general of the system. So after I installed the software update, I kind of went in here and went to every different menu to see just some of the overall smoothness. And so going into music, now there's still an issue of like just tapping those buttons are a pain in the butt, but like overall general smoothness, everything loads pretty darn quickly now, which is nice. Going into the drive mode screen, again, that loads really fast. Let's take a peek here when we switch drive modes. It feels just a little bit smoother. There's still, like before, one of the issues that some people had was that they would, the menu would kind of get stuck there. I have not experienced that since I redid this. If we try to switch things fast, it seems to be acting responsively, which is nice. So that's good. Love it. Love it. Cool. That works. Here is something that I noticed. So this page takes always just a second longer to load than the rest. But previously, it would take a minute for the color of the vehicle to show up. It would always load like a default LA silver vehicle before my storm blue would show up. And now it seems to be doing it correctly, which is great. Cameras are there, everything loads fast, settings. It does feel like swiping up is a little bit smoother now, which is great news. Gear guard is there, accessible, pretty quick. Camping mode, this page, again, always takes like a slight second to load, but once it loads, it's pretty smooth. There used to be some frame rate issues with the Fire. That seems to be resolved in this. And then, of course, you've got your Google Casting and YouTube, which seems to be working as intended. Again, smoothly, no issues here. So we can go to YouTube, start watching, and it should load up YouTube pretty quickly. Obviously, depending on your internet. Yeah, so there you go. So that loaded up pretty quickly there, and we can exit right here. So navigation is there pretty smoothly, and we can do, let's just see, go destination, go to IKEA and see what that like, just to make sure, see how everything loads up, and it shows you the different directions. And I mean, in general, overall, pretty smooth, I would think. So you'll have to be the judge of that. Somebody told me, if you go into settings, go to vehicle, display and lighting, and then go to ascent lighting. Ascent lighting? Wow, English is hard for me. First of all, I don't know if this should be black or white. I don't know if that means it just hasn't, it's like stuck in night mode. But anyways, this is a good indicator because these little animations would always lag, or they'd be like, they'd suffer. And this seems to be pretty smooth now, which is nice. And you can exit it. It doesn't get stuck like it did for a while there. See, it closes pretty quickly, which is nice. So that is a indicator of just overall better performance in my mind. So shout out to Tyrone who told me about this, because this is a really neat way to see, other than being stuck in dark mode. I'm curious, like if I go here and switch it to light mode, if we go dark mode transition is still very rough. It's not perfect. I hope that one day that gets resolved, but it just, yeah. So maybe it's designed that way, guys. I don't know. Well, we'll keep it. It doesn't bother me. But we'll go back to my Twilight Trail setting. But that is what I wanted to show you in terms of just smoothness overall. So I have the windows open, the doors are locked, the car is locked. I turned off Bluetooth on my phone. We're gonna try to see if we can get the alarm to go off. So there's gear guard. So I'm just gonna push a button on the inside. There we go. So it says lock and unlock vehicle with a key to wake screens. I got a key. Great. Okay, and that's it. That is the new trigger for the alarm. So just wanted to kind of show you what that looked like, but that is what happens if somehow you get the alarm triggered, and if you go into gear guard, it should, yeah, here maybe, yep, here we go. So it shows you, there's me. There's my latest attempt of coming in and breaking into my vehicle, and you can see the door open and the alarm goes off. So that is exactly what I wanted to replicate, and I'm glad I was able to do it. There we go. So here I'm going to show you the smart turn signal. I'm in the highway. It's a mapped road, but I'm just driving. I don't have highway assist enabled or anything, so I'm going to change lanes manually. And as you'll see, when I change lanes over manually, the turn signal will automatically turn off. Let me show you again. So we're going to go back to the left lane. Hand is here. We're going to go over. And it just stops. And that's the smart turn signal. And now let's talk about 2024.51 additional improvements, and there's a lot of bug fixes for both Gen 1, but especially for Gen 2. So let's just kind of go down the list. Rivian has said that they've improved drivability and control of the vehicle while in reverse. Not quite sure what that means, but I guess more just control, I guess, yeah. Rivian also has said that in Gen 2 it has improved charging efficiency and thermals. So for dual motor large and max pack vehicles, specifically dual motor, they've improved charging efficiency. They've also improved drive efficiency in mild to cold ambient temperature conditions. Sorry guys, it's 70 degrees here in Florida. There's no way for me to test that out. This is really cool, and I hope to see some people post about this, because I'd love to see it. But in certain cold conditions, a small section of the front fascia of the vehicle now heats to ensure sensor performance, so that your Rivian autonomy platform and all the other sensors that are included in the front fascia of your vehicle actually perform accordingly. So that's really cool. As well as they've extended the defrost time during vehicle preconditioning for to more effectively melt ice and snow from the windshield. So that's really cool for all of our friends who are experiencing super cold conditions. Rivian has also improved some vehicle sleep conditions as well, which is great. So Rivian has now improved the ready state efficiency when there's no driver present, right? If a charger is not properly connected or is not properly seated in the vehicle, and so it's like not really charging, the vehicle will now go to sleep after 60 seconds instead of just staying awake and not charging and taking a battery. So that's neat. It also, Rivian has also updated vehicle behavior to allow it to sleep even if the driver's seatbelt is buckled in. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking is like, well, that's going to be a problem. Like, how do I keep the vehicle awake for a longer period of time if I want to do that? And so there are kind of workarounds that Rivian suggests to keep the vehicle awake for a longer period of time. You can go into the camping menu, go to manage energy, and choose the stay on option. And I'll show you when I'll show you here on the screen. You can also go into the camping menu, select outlets, and then set the timer to allow the vehicle to stay awake for longer. Or you can also go into your settings, vehicle, under the service menu. There's an option for show and tell mode. You can enable that, and that will keep the vehicle awake and prevent it from falling asleep. So those are just some of the cool, or some of the ways around getting your vehicle to stay awake and not fall asleep. Additionally, in Gen 2, Rivian has done some driver assistance improvements. I love to see these. This was a fun one that a lot of people reported online, was where the adaptive high beams would throw an error and saying that it needed to be serviced. And of course, it wasn't an actual service issue, it was a false error. And there was a workaround of just going into your settings, disabling adaptive high beams and re-enabling it, it will work. But now Rivian has resolved that issue. Rivian has also fixed a rare issue that resulted in the unavailability of the driver assistance features after a vehicle wake, which then would require you to reset your vehicle in order to recover. So that's been resolved. And also an error saying surround sensor unavailable notification that would pop up in the driver display has also been resolved. So these are just these rare annoyances that have been fixed, which is great. Here's another fun one. I don't even know how this could have happened, but Rivian has resolved it on dual motor Gen 2 vehicles, or even maybe Gen 1, but I think Gen 2 specifically. They fixed a rare issue that caused the vehicle to get stuck in conserve mode. The funny thing is that dual motor vehicles don't have a conserve mode, so how the heck did that happen? Unknown, but don't worry, it is resolved. I know a bunch of you out there had that issue, so when you get the 0.51 update, that will be resolved, which is great. Rivian has also fixed an issue that caused passenger windows to falsely detect obstructions while going up and down. I actually had that happen and thought it was just something that I did wrong. Who knew? It was an actual bug. Rivian has now also added, if you're running the latest 2.18 mobile software update or higher, you now have the ability to add third row seat heating to the climate schedule. So you can actually enable the third row seating for heat, so that when you get into the vehicle in the morning or whenever you're ready to precondition it, you can have it set so that those seats in the third row are warm. So now you can do it for the front, the second, and the third row in the R1S, which is really nice. Some additional navigation stuff. In the navigation favorites, such as your home, your work, your saved locations, those are now synced to an individual driver profile, which is great. That means each individual driver can have their own work location, their own home location, their own saved favorites in the vehicle nav. Those will also be accessible through the creating a trip in the Rivian mobile app, again 2.18 or higher. So you'll be able to now say, take me to my office or take me to this safe location. They will pop up in the navigation on the vehicle as well as in the mobile app. They fixed also a small issue where a number of vehicles just could not accept any of the cloud control commands that you would send from the mobile app. That has been resolved. And then also, now for that one, I want to take a second to step back. That fix does require the affected drivers to go in and unsync any paired keys and resync them from scratch. So, just as an FYI, I thought there, you'll want to do that. You'll have to take the keys out from the mobile app and resync them, to be able to fix that issue. So just a thought. We are continuing to see some more Apple Music improvements. They fixed an issue that caused perceived volume to fluctuate between tracks, especially when switching between Dolby Atmos spatial music and normal music. So that's something just to take into consideration. It is not perfect by any means yet. There's still work to be done on the Rivian and Apple side to get Apple Music up to a perfect level of function. But these are just small little updates that are happening that help the situation. Fixed a rare playback issue that prevented songs from playing. That was an issue. Fixed an issue that prevented the See All button from working on some live radio entries. And they've also added a day and night mode for settings and sign-in page on the center display. So now if it's nighttime, you won't be blinded by a bright white page. Vice versa, if it's daytime, it won't be a dark page. You'll be prompted with a proper light or dark mode page. And then finally, some infotainment improvement. Rivian has fixed a rare issue that caused the infotainment system to reboot while streaming a video to the center display via Google Cast. Fixed an issue that caused the rear display to not respond to touch in some cases while attempting to transition to the home page on the rear display. And finally, Rivian has enhanced the overall performance and stability of the infotainment system. And I'm going to show you that. I'm going to take the phone out from the tripod here. I'm going to show you just some general stability. Like, honestly, it just feels so much smoother now. There are still little hiccups here and there, but it is much better than where it was with the previous update. I can definitely vouch for that. So let me flip the camera over and show you what I mean by some of the smoothness that we can see with the stability and improvement fixes of the infotainment system. And that wraps up 2024.51. Not a lot of exciting stuff, but a lot of bug fixes improvement, especially for Generation 2 R1 vehicles, which was very necessary. And so I praise the team for working really hard. I know that towards the end of last year, 2024, they worked really hard to get Google Casting and YouTube out. So that was a big deal. And so it is nice to see kind of a software update that's less feature heavy and more friendly, or more bug fixes and improvements heavy, because that is sometimes necessary, especially in the software development world. So thanks again for watching, guys. I hope everybody enjoyed this review, and I will see you at the next one. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment below if you have any questions, thoughts, and comments on this software update, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.